giving aid and comfort to your enemies. That is treason. So this entire foreign aid bill, by definition of our laws and our Constitution, is committing treason by doing so.
Good Lord. So the House Republicans, under the stewardship of Speaker Mike Johnson, actually got it done. They passed their aid bills. Sorry, they passed their treason bills, because at one point, Marjorie Greene read the phrase aid and comfort, and she thought, I'm just gonna say that all the time from now on. Just how I pitch everyone as a pedophile, everything I don't like is treason. It's all coming up, Margie. Life is gonna be so much simpler rhetorically for me as a result of this. Well, okay, perhaps it's treason, but what is it that was treason? Well, it was a total of $95 billion being provided across a number of different measures to a number of different states. So Ukraine, Taiwan, Israel, Gaza as well. You get $60 billion in aid to Ukraine, our enemies, obviously. $8 billion to Indo-Pacific allies, sorry, not allies, our enemies. $26 billion in funding for Israel, which I think according to Marjorie Greene, also our enemy. And $9 billion in humanitarian aid. What amount is going to go to Gaza was not specified. And isn't it amazing that out of all that money being thrown around, we'll figure it out with Gaza, the people who arguably need it the most. But anyway, it's not done. It's not law yet. It's gonna go to the Senate, supposedly gonna be voted on in the next 24 hours. And I imagine it has a much easier road to passage in the Senate than it did in the House. And Joe Biden, of course, is going to sign it. Now, what's interesting before we discuss is who deserves credit for this. Now, you might think Mike Johnson, he's willing to potentially get yeeted out of the speakership over this thing, or Joe Biden, who advocated for it, or people like Zelensky, who put out all these messages about how necessary it was. No, Lindsey Graham thinks someone else entirely deserves the credit. I think you might be able to guess who it is, but here's the tape.
This would not have passed without Donald Trump. I want to thank the House Speaker and Hakeem Jeffries working together in a bipartisan fashion to give weapons to Ukraine to fight a fight that matters to us. And President Trump has created a loan component to this package that gives us leverage down the road.
He doesn't even want the aid to pass. What are you talking about? Okay, I guess that some of it is a loan, is reminiscent of things he's talked about. He didn't create that, and he doesn't want them to get the aid. I have so many things I want to call Lindsey Graham right now for what he just did, but I don't want to lose my show. So I'll just say, you little weenie of a politician, you. But Francesca, what do you make of all this?
I just like, it's really, to find new ways to get into, to brown nose Donald Trump.
I said we were moving in a different direction.
There's just so many, like Lindsey Graham will tunnel his way into that crack. I swear to God. But it's funny. This is like it's like a parent, and like as a parent, I know this move where it's like he's treating Trump like a little child, like,
yes.
Well, but that pinch that was actually a sign that he was going to share the toys in the sandbox. That's why he pinched you, and he's going to share. Weren't we going to share? Like, that's the move that Lindsey Graham is doing. He's trying to reverse psychology a child into like claiming credit while not, making the child lash out and get mad at them.
Yeah.
It's just so sad. And also Marjorie Greene, she grabbed that aid and abet in the same way that Republicans grab every single one of their talking points, which is seeing a legitimate criticism, perhaps an even criminal criticism or like violation that Donald Trump has done. In this case, aiding and abetting Jan 6 rioters.
100%.
And under the 14th Amendment, having that be like, cause for concern / anti-constitutional. She's like, ooh, let's co-opt aid and abet. And here we go. And this is, again, like, is that the world that Republicans truly want? Is just zero aid for anyone abroad? I mean, that's an interesting, proposal. If you want to put that proposal out, you can. But right there in the line item is another, $26 billion for Israel? So are you saying Israel is exempt? And why is Israel exempt? And there were also people waving an Israeli flag on the House floor recently, wearing IDF uniforms. Like, there are people who believe that Israel is more precious than even the United States, or they make it seem as if that were the case.
Stop asking for consistency.
Right,
They're
exactly. So where is the consistency?
Exactly. No, they're not interested. But and again, look, we have other aspects we have to get to, but it's just like maybe this bothers me weirdly more than it bothers most people, but I have the radar for dim-witted person who thinks they've found a thing. Because they know what they are. They know their limitations. And they're just looking for something to sort of cloak it so that it seems like they're principled. And she thinks she has that. And she's just gonna chew on it for as long as she can. But anyway, obviously, Ukraine, Zelensky, very happy. They said they appreciate the support. Obviously, they probably would have appreciated it a little bit more 3 or 4 months ago. But they're happy about it. Kremlin spokesperson calls it expected and predictable, says it will lead to the deaths of even more Ukrainians. Okay. I think I know what might lead to the deaths of more Ukrainians and more Russians continuing this pointless war of yours, but that's what he's going to do. When you click the join button and become a tier 2 member, you get access to all of our weekly top 10 lists. What are you waiting for?